Hello and welcome to Rotherham Real Talks. So today we have got on Sarah from the S62 Community Together. Yeah, I've said that wrong completely. Uh, from S62 Community to Rotherham. Um, Morning, Sarah. How are we? And how are you coping in
Morning.
half term?
All right, I'm working from home.
Yep.
So today, that's
So I'm working from home as well. So if we do hear any noises from the kids in the background, apologies. So do you want to introduce yourself and explain what you guys do down there?
yeah. So I'm Sarah. I'm one of the co-founders of S62 Community Together in Rotherham. We came together in September 2021. When we came together, we was responding to a big increase in death by suicide, and people really, really struggling with their mental health in the community. So yeah, we started off something really small a few years ago, and now, yeah, very, very big. Yeah, we're nearly like six members of staff, six FT members of staff, and 19 volunteers, operating about 11 sessions a week, group sessions, supporting people, and also one-to-one. So
No,
yes.
it's been nice to see the growth because I've come down now and then to help and support with other things,
Mhm.
and probably over the last 2 years or so, I've been coming down to see you guys, and the growth over that even just that 2 years period has been yeah massive, and new members of staff and the team always growing. So yeah, it's been nice to see. So do you want to jump into what like spiked the why you wanted to set this up and what drove that?
So I was on maternity leave when this all came about, and I'd previously done like a charity role in my last employment. So I'd always worked in like finance and corporate type spaces. And so when I'd done this charity role, I felt like it was just really a show. It didn't feel like I was really doing anything, making a difference. Um, I was also like contemplating and toying with the idea that whilst I was on maternity leave because of the needs of my family, that it was going to be really, really hard for me to return to work. So I thought, right, okay, let's just do a bit of voluntary. I'm a very busy-minded person. I need to keep myself busy and doing things. I'd tried like little jobs previously that, just I'd worked in Asda for a little bit, and it just didn't keep my cogs turning enough.
Right.
So I was just like, I just feel like I need to get myself stuck into something. Um, because even though I love being a mum, I can't just
Yeah,
be a mum. That's a bit,
you need
yeah.
something else to
And
focus
I
on other
need
than
something
your
else
son.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost it's like a learning thing. Like I feel like I just need to be learning, and that kind of fills my cup up when I'm like learning and pushing myself a little bit. So yeah, it kind of come from that. I'd also had bouts of time off where I'd really struggled with my mental health, and in my 20s, I'm nothing like I am now. A very unrecognizable person. There were times where I couldn't even go into a shop for some milk. I'd pull up outside my mum's house and ring her and just be like, "Mum, please can you just go into the shop?" I just can't. And it just this
Right.
overwhelming anxiety, you couldn't explain it. So yeah, I've basically gone through a journey of really, really struggling with anxiety, meltdowns, and my own journey with my family has helped me figure out why. And I'm like, we all need that kind of person in his life that can really help us unpick what's going off, try and help us discover and figure out what's going wrong, what's triggering us,
Hmm.
what things are potentially not serving his purpose in his lives. And that doesn't need to be a professional. That's just somebody with good intention, probably with their own experience of working out what works for them, how to keep themselves well. And so yeah, I've just kind of put that what I've received, I've put that back into other people.
Yeah, I think it's giving somebody a sounding board just to know that they've been listened to and somebody just to talk to that's
Yeah.
comfortable with. And talking can yeah, it can massively help and slow somebody's crazy thoughts, and they're going, "Oh, what do I do?" What's and it just brings them down to that next level and relaxes them, and they can put a plan in place and
That's it.
yeah, bring them back down to a more leveled thing and
Mhm.
reflect on it and how yeah sharing exactly sharing experiences and working through what works for that individual because it's not going to work for everybody. Uh,
No, no, it
everybody's going to
doesn't.
have a different path. Um,
Correct.
but if you can share and mastermind those ideas, this works for me. Have you tried that? You're going to help in even if it's just a little bit. It will massively support that person.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think for me as well, and I'm very keen on it, is that it's something that you continue to do. So for me, like my mental health struggles aren't going to go away. They're always going to fluctuate up and down. And so like something that we do with individuals that come to us, and it's something that I use as well, is something that's called a wellness recovery action plan. And so this is something that I share with my loved ones. And it's all about once we've kind of figured out what things are good for us, what things keep us in a positive place, what things can be really overwhelming for us, what are the early signs to start looking for your loved ones. So there's certain telltale signs. My husband like automatically knows when I'm starting to struggle, and he'll identify it before I
Yeah.
do. And so like I've created this plan with him. I also share it at work as well, so that like the rest of the team at S62 kind of know things that I struggle with, what my limitations are, what I probably need if I'm feeling a little bit down. They can soon bring me round. And so if I'd have not been around those supportive people, had a chance to like actually really look at what was going wrong in my life at those times, I'd be in a very different position to what I am right now. So for me, that getting to catch things early and those early interventions and stopping things from spiraling, is what's kept me like working now.
Yeah, and I think it's nice to that other people have like cottoned on onto what triggers are
Yeah,
and everyone's going to be completely different. But if you've got that plan in place, that we know, right, Sarah's a little bit different today. Um,
absolutely. That's it. And it's all like, so things like that are on mine is, so for me, like I love being outdoors, which is a bit of a nightmare when you've got hay fever. So I'm a bit sniffly today. But like, yeah, I love being like quiet spaces. Like I'm actually an introvert. A lot of people think that I'm extroverted and I'm not. So I actually get my energy from spending a lot of time alone and in quiet and solace. And I'm a really boring person. Like I really like just a very, very simple life. And I found when I've like retracted into that like that simplicity and stuff and actually done the things that serve me, this is the person that can now go into the shop for milk.
yes, everything else just clicked into place because
Yeah.
you being you.
Yes, yeah, that's it. I'm being me, accepting me, flaws and all. We all have them. So yeah.
Perfect. Um, So, do you want to jump into what sort of offerings and programs and stuff that you've got down there? And I know there's a number of
Yep.
different classes and programs that you offer out to the community. Um,
Mhm.
who heads them up? How do all that how does all that come together?
Okay, so obviously S62 in itself is a lived experience organisation. So everybody underneath throughout the workforce, as we call them, is has some form of mental health or recovery lived experience.
Hmm.
So during the week we have 11 group sessions. We also then have some ad hoc ones. So in terms of our group sessions, you can just turn up to them. So you don't need to sign. You don't need to sign up. Obviously, when you come to us, we will get capture some details from you. We need to obviously do that for various reasons. First and foremost, the health and safety of you as an individual. But the second one, we are like grant funded, grant and contract funded.
Yeah.
So we offer, everything's free that we do, but we just need that little bit of information which helps us do our reporting. Um, So yeah, you can just turn up to any of the groups at any point. We do have something called a sound bath that we've been running. That is something you have to sign up for that one, but generally all the others you would just turn up. So we're currently based at the drop-in centre in Romarsh. So we're open 12 till 3 Monday to Friday. So that's just a safe space for anyone to be able to come to, connect with other people that have either walked a similar journey or have maybe not have walked the exact same path, but they understand how difficult it is to walk
Yeah.
through that door because we've all at one point walked through that door for the very first time.
Hmm.
So in terms of like during the sessions, it's mainly as volunteer team that run that. So anybody that's coming to the session, these are people that are giving back to the community from the goodness of their own hearts because they have been affected just like anybody potentially accessing us just as much, and
Yeah.
they know what it feels like, so obviously they want to give their time up to help support people. So we tend to have like different themes of stuff that's going off on the days just because it makes it that little bit easier to walk in, especially if you're anxious. Somebody's probably going to want to doing something with the hands or just some form of topic. So sometimes we'll have games on. Sometimes we'll just have a bit of a tea and toast on because we have a lot of people that'll come and potentially aren't even eating, not looking after themselves.
Hmm.
So we've got free refreshments and snacks and stuff available too. Um, and then we started doing a few different cohort sessions as well, really like focusing on what's important to the people that are attending us. So we've just recently started a chronic warriors group. So that's for individuals suffering with chronic pain. We know how much that's affecting people's mental well-being, and people that they're choosing to come together to support one another through that journey and have that sounding board of people who understand what it's like to live with chronic pain. We've also just branched out to Maltby. So we're running a session up at Maltby now. That's the first session that we're kind of doing out of Romarsh at this point in time. And we get a lot of people obviously that say, well, if you're S62, does that mean you're only open to people in Romarsh? Absolutely not. We have everybody from across Rotherham and surrounding areas that come to us. But we are trying to look at, making things a bit more accessible.
Yeah.
So we are looking at various spaces across the borough, but Maltby being the first one. Um, we're also doing the Feed in Our Community, which is focused on our older adults. So we've just had that funded through the Hearts and Minds. That's a Friday afternoon. We do need you to ring as office and book on that one. So if you are over the age of 65, you are more than welcome. Just ring us office and we'll get you booked onto that. So that's a free lunch that we provide, and a space for our over 65s to get together. It's been really great to see that there's some ownership coming from the peers that attend that session, and they've even started putting on some like quizzes and sharing like past history and stuff together. So in this, like, it's only been going for I think 5 weeks, and they've really formed a lovely little unit already, which is
Yeah.
exactly what we want to
They've,
see.
they've created their own little community.
They have,
Yeah.
exactly. That's exactly what we want to do. So as you can see, there's lots of stuff going off group, but we do one-to-one support. So we've got two different funding streams that do that one-to-one. So we've got the National Lottery one-to-one support, so anybody can refer into that. You can self-refer. We've also got a pathway with the Rotherham Care Group, so like a secondary mental health services. We also get professional referrals through them onto that pathway also.
Right.
And then we've also got the Integrated Care Board, so South Yorkshire ICB. They funded us for peer support through the primary care. So you can, if you went to your GP, if you've got a Rotherham GP and you are interested in peer support, they can refer you onto us also.
Right. Okay. So how do you what's your strongest methods of engaging with the community so you can identify who actually needs your support? I know obviously there's the main referral into you,
Yep,
how are you capturing the other people that might not want to go to the GP and access those
yep.
functions, and they're a little bit shy and they don't want to say, I might be struggling with this. How are you capturing those people? I know
So
it's
obviously
quite difficult to do
it
that.
is really
Yeah,
difficult. It is really, really
but how are you
difficult.
trying to do that?
So obviously we have various social media platforms. So we have a lot of people that will just message us and inquire through those. So in terms of that, we've got somebody that we were actually communicating with over text for such a long time, and eventually, once they were ready, we got them to meet with somebody one to one. So
Right.
like we will try all various types of methods. We go out and we have obviously sessions out. We try and attend any of the networking events. We've also done lots of different consultations. So in terms of when it's like Rotherham Show, we do a bit of a consultation, then just try and get a feel from people that we wouldn't usually come in contact with, what happens there. We link with lots of different organisations as well as professionals. So yes, it could be somebody that's got maybe like social care involved, and then social care will come to us because yeah, they wouldn't necessarily be people that would try and put themselves forward for that.
Yeah.
We've also some other like support agencies that do care support work. We're also linked with them, so they'll also contact us, and they also know that they can just turn up at the session. Um, so yeah, it's a bit of a mixture, bit of a mixture between consulting with the individuals that already attend us and
Yeah.
speaking to them about people that they know, what them blocks are, what it is that potentially we're not delivering that they would like to see that'd help them come and get involved. We also do home visits.
All right.
So
Okay.
yeah, so we also do home visits. Obviously, we would love to get everybody actually in the community because you're not just got that one person, then you've actually got a community of people
Yeah.
once you're entered into that group. But that's not for everybody. And we absolutely recognise that. And again, some people that struggle to actually leave their homes for various reasons, we also yeah, go and do them home visits where possible.
Yeah, so you've captured your big net to hopefully capture as many people as possible in
Really trying.
the specific way that they want to, especially like you
Yeah,
just said over text message and like social media messaging.
yeah,
If they're very shy and they don't want to come and talk to somebody in person,
yeah.
they've got that different avenue to they can go down and still get access to that support.
Absolutely. I mean, not even a couple of months ago, a few months ago, we actually tried doing an online support group as well. Unfortunately, it didn't really take off, but that's not to say that we won't like try again. So it's just about getting the right few bunch of people. So I know that we've got a few people at this moment in time that are getting home visits, and we're
Mhm.
hoping that the next thing for us is to try and see if we can just get them to meet online. So
Right. So that would
it's a
like a little bit of a like a webinar Zoom meeting with
yeah, yeah, that's
yeah. So they're
it.
still in
So
the
group
comfort of their
setting.
own home. Yeah.
They can listen, they can turn the cameras off if they want, but just to start to try and break down some of them barriers
Yeah.
and understand and get for them to get to know who they're gonna see. What does the space look like? Any things that's worrying them, if they can share it with us in any which way, we can then look to resolve that.
No, and I think that's a really good way of it, like crossing that boundary because
Mhm.
I think the amount of people in my normal line of work think they already know me because they've seen me online. The brain can't acknowledge that they've either seen you on a screen or they've seen you in person. So if you
Yeah.
are meeting online and doing like Zoom calls and stuff,
Hmm.
they will learn who people are and get to trust them. And then when you actually meet people in person, you feel like you've already got that relationship and understanding because there's plenty of people I do training up and down the country, and we've got yeah, the network I'm in, and we do a lots of Zoom calls on training days and other bits and bobs. And there's people there that I've only ever seen on Zoom, but when
Yes,
I've
yeah,
actually met them in person, it's like we've known each other for months, but I've never actually met them in person. It's
yeah,
because you've got that recognition, and your brain can identify whether they've seen you on a screen or
that's it.
actually during
Actually in
a
person,
normal
and
day
it's
to day. Yeah.
and
Of
it's trust, isn't it?
course it is.
People obviously are coming to us and sharing some things that they've potentially never shared with anybody. And yeah, that's a really, really big thing. And for you to be
Yeah.
able to open up to somebody, um, I mean, these days I seem to be a chronic oversharer of my life. But for other people, like, yeah, absolutely, I see it day in day out. It takes a long time for somebody to build trust, and I think
Yep.
that's one of the biggest things with us in the community and keeping that community presence. We are there for people when they are ready, and we can take this at their pace. There's
Yeah.
no rushing. I know a lot of support that you go into, you're limited on sessions and stuff, and yeah, life just doesn't really work well that way. We are definitely here for for that long-term support. We don't want to just be just some short fix for somebody. That could work for somebody, and that's absolutely fine. If you only need to speak to us for a few weeks or access us for a few weeks while you're going through something a bit rough, absolutely fine. But for some others, we're a staple of their life, like pretty much every day of the week. You
Yeah.
know, we give them some stability when other things are so up and down.
So, awkward silence then. So I'm looking at my next questions to feel like where we've already covered. So I know you've been doing a lot of fundraising and stuff and getting other people involved recently. And I know a big one that you've just done, which I was in, what I was part of, is the 10K sponsored walk, which went down like a storm, which was really good to yeah, to be involved in.
Yes,
Have you got any other ideas of other things? I think we were talking about making the 10K walk an annual event now.
that's correct. Yep,
Good. So I've been roped into that.
you have. And it's all recorded now,
It's all
Daryl.
recorded, so I've got to do it.
That's
Um,
it.
but
16th
what?
of May 2026.
That's it. And what else have you got planned? Obviously, because obviously you are limited with funds, etc., to be able to provide the support and stuff that
Yeah,
you guys do. The grants only go so far, so
correct.
you've got to raise that extra funds to help keep things ticking over. What
Correct.
other things have you got in the pipeline, or what you're thinking about, and how can people get involved?
Okay. So one of the things, as we've like moved and grown, my role's changed a lot from what it used to be. And so one of the things that now falls under one of my days in the week is all about fundraising, engagement. And so what I'm looking at doing is recreating a fundraising team. So I know you know that we had one at one point, and yeah, basically some of those individuals at that time obviously had the time to give to us, and they don't anymore,
Okay.
unfortunately. But um, I'm moving into to that next step, and I've I've had somebody speak to me about a potential music festival.
Okay.
Yeah, that I mean that makes me feel a little bit nervous, only because that's something I have absolutely no experience in. But apparently, I like to stress myself out, so why not?
Right.
Um,
Dive in feet first.
but why? That's it. Why not? Obviously, in terms of the walks, so yes, that is going to be an annual one. We tend to do like raffles at Christmas and things. Um, but other than that, I'm kind of just trying to form a fundraising team to help so that we've got a lot of meetings going off that's really to help the public get involved and shape what we do as an organization. And I think to actually do that with the fundraising aspect is really important too.
Hmm.
So because as an organization we are we are led by the community. It's the community's choice. I don't feel it's right that I just make that decision.
Yeah.
So obviously I want to create a little bit of a fundraising steering team for us to come together and be like, right, what is important? What are we trying to achieve? I think one of the biggest things is, yes, we always need those funds, um, because there is always something that needs uh, paying for, an extra cost coming up that's not covered by grants and stuff and as overheads. Um, but yes, it's I don't know. There's a little bit of a do we do something a bit crazy again next time? I like to do something a little bit crazy, maybe like an abseil or something. Not 100% sure at this point in time. But I think if anybody wants to help with that and they feel that they could give us some time, please feel free to email us.
Yeah.
If you could share our email address
I will
after
do.
that.
Yeah, I'll stick that into the show notes. So if anyone does have any fundraising ideas that they want to reach out to Sarah, by all means, yeah, the contact details will be in the show notes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So yeah, the first thing for me is getting that strong fundraising
Creating
team.
that team, yeah.
Yeah, and actually starting to develop and grow that.
Hmm.
So I mean, in terms of fundraising and time, it doesn't need to be masses of time. So I'm looking at putting a quarterly meeting in place. So every 3 months for us to get together, just continue to work on what we need to do, brainstorming, like what we can get involved in. I have had a few organisations throughout different areas across Rotherham that have reached out to me, really wanting to support mental health. So yeah, it doesn't matter where, whereabouts in Rotherham you're from. I think if you're passionate about mental health, recovery, and lived experience, peer support, yeah, please get in touch and we will see what we can do fundraising wise together.
Brilliant. Yeah, it sounds great. Have you got one or two like case studies that really stick out for you where you're able to share? I don't want you to put you on the spot, but if you are able
Mhm.
to share, is there any case studies where you can see where you don't have to obviously disclose any
Yeah.
names or anything, but an individual's coming to you and you've seen their progress and they've come on leaps and bounds just because of the result of accessing your services? Is there anything that you're able to share?
Yes. Yeah. So I've got a couple, and obviously, yeah, I won't name anybody or anything. I wouldn't do
No.
that. But so there's a couple of scenarios. I think the first one would for me be somebody who came to us probably 14 months ago now. And in 14 months, we've gone from not being able to walk through the door. We had to, what we actually did is we arranged for them to come and see the building first. And so we welcomed them in while there was nobody else in, because their anxiety was just crippling. They were so scared of lots of different things, anything that was uncertain. So they came to us. We then managed to get them onto one of the group sessions. Um, that started becoming a regular feature. So, we started to improve, they started to connect with a couple of people, started to understand that they were safe, with us, that we got their best intention. They started to slowly open up about was what was causing them this great anxiety, what had happened to them that had actually triggered the onset of this,
Yeah.
because that didn't come out for quite some time. And there was an individual that was accessing crisis support several days a week. Uh,
Right.
and this had been going on for quite some time. And back in last July, when we opened 5 days a week, because we'd started that routine, this had then helped them get a much better pattern. They weren't sleeping often. And so on a night when they were alone and there was, nobody to speak to, the thoughts and the anxiety became really overpowering and stuff again. So,
Hmm.
you know, even though they'd slightly dipped in terms of the contact, the contact with crisis team, it was still happening.
Right.
It was still happening. there were various things that they were doing that was really not good for that for them as an individual.
Yeah.
Really hard trying not to tell, yeah, to
No,
tell
no,
you
yeah,
information and trying to give a blanket, but yeah, some things that were really upsetting and distressing, and that's the way that they were coping with that situation at that time. When we moved into the 5 day a week sessions and opening in July, they've stated how much of a game changer that really is for them. It's
yeah.
created some stability that they didn't have. It's formed a routine.
Hmm.
It's formed a space for them to come to that they know that they can deal with. They've created friendships out of that. And so on them evenings where they'd usually be on their own with their own thoughts,
Their
which
own,
can be a
yeah,
really dark place, they've now got a whole support system. So not only are we sleeping better because we've got some form of routine established, which surrounds around that. They've got a full new network of trusted individuals that are able to support them. They haven't contacted crisis in months.
brilliant.
Um, we've also then looked across the borough for any times and things that we're not around, because we aren't around 24/7, unfortunately. But we've also got lots of links across the borough with other different peer-led organisations. So they've literally got a calendar full for the entire week of people and places that are safe for them to meet.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that they're volunteering now. Yeah, just doing fantastic. It's beautiful, really beautiful.
Yeah, it must be really rewarding and like, well, like a proud mum moment when you've seen, if you could put it like that, you've seen someone when they first come and make contact with you and how far they've come. But it's like that's a huge change. I know
Yeah,
that's it's not going to be an overnight thing,
yeah,
but over the course of a few weeks and months, they've gone from being in a really dark place to
yeah.
being really social, actively going out to make new friendships and having building their own support networks alongside what you guys are providing. So it
Yeah,
must be, yeah, really nice to see that journey and see them come out at the other end and
it
they're
is.
now dealing with what they need to deal with.
Yeah, it is, and we're so close. These people obviously tell
Yeah,
us things, and we whatever we're comfortable with, we also share.
yeah,
I think that obviously the difference between when people look at the service and organisation, peer support within the community is um very, what did somebody say to me? It's very messy. I think people
right.
look for a service and be like, oh, that's very organized and there's no friendship or anything there. Of course, there's a form of healthy boundary that we all have. That's as individuals, we should
Yeah,
all have that healthy boundary. But these are people that I care for very deeply, and I know that they care for me. And if anything happens to any of us, we will all try and
yeah, you
support
know that.
each other.
Yeah,
So, this is, I'm feeling really rubbish right now. Do you want to meet me for a coffee? And this person that I'm speaking about has done that to me for me.
yeah,
So peer support is reciprocal. I'll support that individual. They'll also support me when I need that. They'll
yeah,
be straight there to make me a brew when they know that I've had a rough night at home and stuff, and Freddie's not sleeping.
yeah,
They'll be there, and that's the beauty of it. We know that we've got each other.
yeah. It works both ways.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and it's because they know you're there for them, they'll be there for you because
Absolutely.
you've built that connection and relationship over time. Yeah, that trust is there,
Absolutely.
which
Yeah.
is I think that's the main point, isn't it? They
Yeah.
now trust you to be able to be open with you
That's
and
it.
recognize that
It's a
actually
trust.
you've helped me, so I can help you when you need it.
And I think the fact that, I will show that vulnerable side to me. I'm not a robot. Things do affect me,
Yeah,
just as they do anybody else. And I think the fact that we're able to be like that real with people is what's made the strength of our organization. Absolutely.
yeah, because it doesn't look like a big organization that there's
No.
lots of rules in place and you can actually go to the top of the ladder if you say it to have that one-to-one and be really approachable rather than not, yeah, being scared to say, "Oh, I can't go speak to Sarah because she runs the place."
Oh no, I don't.
But there isn't that boundary there to say, well,
Yeah.
just because Sarah and Sam are running the show, we can't access Sarah and Sam.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Me and Sam are very much, we are on the ground. We are still always around. Yes, we might not officially deliver, the set
Some of
one-to-one
this, yeah,
support or anything, or the groups, but I mean, I were on allotment yesterday. I was on the allotment yesterday. We've got a couple of people off on holiday and stuff, and I'm like, I want to go to allotment. I feel like I need that for me as well.
yeah,
And so, there was a few of us that went and we all had a catch up and stuff together. So yeah, the whole when anybody, asks title wise and stuff, it makes me go a little bit eek.
yeah,
Because yeah, I'm just Sarah, and everybody who comes to S62 is just an individual just like me. Unfortunately, I do have a paid role, which means I have to do certain tasks. So I
yeah,
can't always go up to allotment and stuff. And that's what keeps us running. But other than that, I still put, I mean, I always said that actually I can't wait till one day when I can be voluntary. When I don't have a house and a mortgage to pay for and kids to feed.
yeah.
Because I know that in later life I will definitely
That's
be,
the route. Yeah.
yeah, that for me, it's just doing something with purpose is what's important to me.
Yeah, and I suppose that brings us on to really nicely into the next bit.
Mhm.
I know the you guys are growing and expanding all the time.
Yeah.
What's your vision for the future for the organization, and
Mhm.
how are you putting things in place for that to make sure that you do grow and
Okay.
continue to provide them services?
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, yes, we've gone from a really small organization, and yeah, all of a sudden we're a really, really big one. And with that, obviously, then comes the demand from the public, and not only the public, the commissioners, providers. A lot of people look to us, and so the next stages for us is we have a few new individuals joining our board. So, these are going to be voluntary members of our community that are passionate about what we do, have supported us from really, really early on, actually, within the journey, and have seen that development.
Yeah,
But we're also obviously looking for um, that that inside look, that outside look. Me and Sam are so on the ground and really invested heart-wise and stuff. That board's
yeah,
going to be really transformational for us. So we've got that. Obviously, when the new board comes into place and things as well, we are going to be looking at the future. So some things that we're looking at, as we said, we've got a session up at Maltby. That is not going to be the last and only session across the borough. So we are looking at provision in the south and potentially central also.
hmm,
So it's just going to be a matter of putting into place what we need to do to achieve that. So these are obviously all the vision, that
yeah,
we can have something north, south, and central to try and make things as accessible as possible for people. And yeah, what that looks like. So it's exciting, but it's also a little bit scary. There's
yeah.
a lots of strategy to how we're going to achieve this. Um, but I'm not a quitter, and neither's Sam.
No, definitely not. But I suppose
So,
that just proves how far you have come. Is you're
yeah,
going to have to the organization's got to evolve to
yeah,
continue to grow and provide the access to more people,
yeah, absolutely,
not just in S62, but across Rotherham as a whole, and
absolutely,
making it as accessible as physically possible, and having those other hubs
yeah,
uh, so people can get involved as well.
yeah.
So
That's it.
go
Yeah.
on.
No, I'm just going to say,
Uh,
obviously, as base at Romarsh is still our home, and obviously
yeah,
we
yeah,
still love that place. And yeah, we still will be there. It's just there's other spaces to. And even though people do access us from the other side of Rotherham, for various different reasons, it's just trying to reach the
Make that a
even
bit
wider
more
community.
accessible for those
Yeah.
people as well. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, how can other people get involved, and what's the avenue if people want to say, actually, I could give an afternoon, I've got some lived experience. What would be that? Would it be a conversation with you and Sam to say that this is my experience, and I think I might be able to help in this scenario? What does that look like, and how can they get involved?
So yeah, we have the well, we need volunteers
Yeah.
because we are predominantly volunteer led. So yeah, that's really, really needed. So Sam does all of our like volunteer management and supports everybody through that. We if you'd again contact our email address, we can send you some information on that, or you can give us a call, and we're happy to discuss that in future. Yeah, any future opportunities that you might want to be involved in. And that can look like anything from coming and setting up a session to facilitating a session. We also do lots of different training. So anybody who comes to us, we've actually got people on training this morning. So some of our volunteer team are actually going through a university qualification.
All right.
Um,
Wow.
so yeah, that's been funded through NHS England. So our team are constantly going through different various bits of training, which is all around lived experience and peer support. Um, so yeah, there's lots of different development opportunities as well for people. So yeah, anything that you think could be involved, from walk leaders to people wanting to get involved in the allotment. People want to actually even make food for individuals. That's becoming a really big thing for us, and we're
Hmm.
looking at how we can move that forward to potentially trying to provide meals in future. So that's just going to be a matter of the cost of food
Yeah.
and obviously individuals to be able to prepare that. Because we see many people in poverty and going hungry, especially, single adult households, whether that be poverty or just motivation, even motivation to make
Uh,
something to look
to
after
prepare a meal.
themselves.
Yeah.
And again, it's like we're just trying to stop that cycle, and just covering people's general well-being, and food's a big part of it.
Yeah. No, yeah. I won't go into that. Um, no, thank you for your time, and it's amazing to see the journey because I've seen it firsthand. The
Yeah.
journey, how you've developed and grown over this last, especially the last 2 years or so. It's just like doubled in size, and it's gone mad.
Yeah,
Which is
it
amazing
does.
yeah, it's amazing
Why
to
I've got so
see.
much grey hair now, Daryl.
But yeah, you and Sam and obviously the rest of the team are doing an amazing job down there.
Thank you.
So I will definitely be putting all the contact information down in the show notes, and I'll stick the links into your social media because yes, literally every day on my social media there's something going on from you guys, whether that's a walk up to Wentworth or there's I think the strawberry picking coming up soon.
Yeah, there's strawberry picking coming up
There's
soon.
always something going on that
Trips
people
up
can
into
get involved
Peak
in.
District as well. Yeah, there's always something. We've always got something
There's
going
all
off.
sorts going on. So yeah, people can go over and give these guys a follow and see what they're actually doing there because they are making massive differences to people's lives. So yeah, that gives it up to the end of the podcast. So thank you very much for giving me a bit of your time, Sarah, because I know it's you're a very busy lady, especially in half term with the kids off at the moment.
Yes. Thank you,
So
Al.
yeah, if anyone does want to get involved, just reach out to Sarah. All the information over below, and we will see you on the next one.
Thank you.